Welcome in to the DNVR Rockies podcast again for the day.
Part two.
Part two. Also still presented by Strava Craft Coffee. Remember to use promo code DNVR25. They'll hook you up with 25% off at CBD infused, deliciously rich, and potentially life-altering Strava Craft Coffee. I'm your host, Drew Creasman. I'm the managing editor of DNVR Rockies. With me, as always, is beat writer Patrick Lyons. You heard from Makayla Perkins earlier. We want to get Patrick's thoughts. We want to do a little bit of preview of the series with the San Francisco Giants at the end of the show. We're still, of course, though, reacting to the news. Patrick, did you hear the news?
Did the Rockies bring back Mark Reynolds? No, who'd they sign today?
Right. Big Mark Reynolds news. Now, of course, the kind of out of the blue announcement that not only have the Colorado Rockies and former GM Jeff Bridich parted ways mutually. They made a point to say he was not fired, but whatever, he's not the GM anymore, and have appointed Greg Feasel as the team president. We're going to go through everybody's memes and GIFs and everything. You guys have been sharing some fantastic stuff with us on Twitter, so I want to go through and look at some of that. But just your immediate, like, when you saw that, just what your immediate reaction?
All stations, let's get ready. Here we go. It's happening. It wasn't supposed to happen right now. We figured out what this was supposed to look like. We've done so much of the legwork, it feels like, since the end of last season, of trying to figure this out and maybe right the ship or make sense of it all. And then here we go. They're about to go out on the road. They've got nothing but night games this week against the Giants, no day games. You're not going to get any sleep this week, which is what they want. And here they go, getting rid of their general manager. And it doesn't seem to make sense. Not that you want to get rid of the guy. It's just, why now? And it's just all a part of the PR. It's all part of the public relations and looking good. It's something that we knew was going to happen. We knew that it should have happened. Why now and not the end of the season? You know, Makayla mentioned it on the podcast. I know you talked about it, that they must really think they've got their minds made up on Trevor Story, that, you know what, since we're not trading him, we don't need a GM to trade him, so we can get rid of him now. And it kind of just falls in line with all the good press that they're trying to get, why they would do that. That's just part of my instinct, because, again, for me, we knew Bridich's time was short. And so that was a foregone conclusion. It was just a matter of making it official. Okay, now it's official. Why did it happen now? And that's where my head goes. That's where I'm thinking about it from, that perspective, and who's going to be next. And a lot of it is a little bit of a bait and switch, I think. So Rockies fans, we hear you what you want. And that's a great thing. That is a great thing that I don't necessarily know that was brought up on part one. And there's going to be plenty more. I don't know that we'll have an official part three, but the rest of the season's part three, right? We're going to be figuring out new angles and stuff. But
Cuatro.
Part two, we know the Rockies are listening to the fans, because the fans have wanted these things to happen. They go, all right, we'll give you Bridich and we'll give you the team president in one foul swoop. Once you dig into the details, and again, not everybody is going to dig into the details. They are just going to look and say, hey, we did something. And you did because you voiced your opinion. You emailed directly to the iPad. So results did happen, which is a great thing and should be celebrated. But again, once you dig into the details, you go, oh, I see. Very clever what you did. And it is cause to be somewhat optimistic, right? It's not they hired Theo Epstein. It's just they've maybe paved the way and they've cleaned out the garage, and now they got to go out and buy all the gym equipment to load up the garage, and you can get in shape, and now you're going to be in CrossFit. But right now they just got the baggage and all the clutter out of the garage for right now, and let's see what they do next.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to push back a little bit there. I would agree with you if it was just the Jeff Bridich move, because I think you're right. I think that's the biggest news, and that's the thing that everyone wants to focus on, because he's been the face of the franchise, really, for better or worse, for the last several years, and most of the time for worse, you know. But as I did say earlier, the appointment of a team president, now it doesn't, he has to be a
good
team
that's a good
president,
thing.
right? But just the that's not even the recreation of the team president position is in and of itself a 100% positive thing for the Colorado Rockies. Now they still have to fill that with the guy who's got to do the right job. And we need to learn more about Greg Feasel and what he does. He has an oddly similar background to Kelly McGregor, where like his expertise has come in like all the people stuff and handling the ballpark and making the ballpark experience great, which it is. So he's good at that. Does that translate to baseball stuff? You know, Kelly McGregor was more of a football guy. His job was more about, you know, being that communicator between O'Dowd and Dick Monfort. And what it does is inherently, because they are going to appoint an interim GM, there's just more voices in the room. We're hopeful Dick Monfort steps away a little bit. That remains to be seen. If you're really hopeful, that's the thing you're hoping on right now, right? But what's undisputed is there's two new people who are making the baseball decision first and foremost that Dick can either veto or not veto later. But at the very least,
that's part of the problem. But that's a great point. But so what you made a really good point that it's subtle, and I don't know if that entirely came across the first time, is that there is now a team president that exists. Now we can get into whether or not this is the right person, but when the time comes for this, for Greg Feasel maybe to step aside, because he's not going to live forever as far as we know.
None of us,
but I mean, unless the world ends and we all go at the same time, then technically we did live forever, but we won't know that until then, at which point I don't want to be proven wrong. Right. But he's going to have to go, and they're not going to go, well, we're not going to appoint someone. We're going to go back to having nothing. So that is a huge piece, again, going forward. It's just that if it's not the right person, it was like a half measure. You know what I mean? Like a lot of it just feels like a half measure because we knew it was coming. And so just because it happened doesn't necessarily, I think, change a lot of things. You really astutely pointed out last year, it was either at the end of the year or during the offseason, go back and check when everyone's like, Jeff Bridich this, Jeff Bridich that. How could Jeff Bridich? When really, this is a Dick Monfort problem. And so just because the people underneath him, it's kind of like he's still driving the bus. He got rid of some luggage, but he's still driving in the same general direction. And that's just one of the reasons why it's not a full straight up celebration, right? There's other pieces to it.
Yeah. And I think that's all 100% right and fair. And you're right. I've been driving that even since before that, even back in the Dan O'Dowd days, which again, kind of turned out, people were excited they got rid of Dan O'Dowd, and then we went right into Jeff Bridich. And so it definitely remains to be seen what the next steps are. That said, and we talked about this, I think the night that the All-Star game, they announced that the All-Star game was coming, and Makayla and I just happened to be in studio, and that's kind of why I'm remembering where I was when I said it, which is that there are also very Jeff Bridich specific problems. There are a lot of problems at this team that remain, right? You're right about that. There are some problems that are there because of who Dick Monfort is and the way he runs things. And then there are problems that are there because of where the team is and the size of the ballpark and all that stuff that we know about. But there were also very Jeff Bridich specific problems, especially the personnel stuff. And I mentioned this with Dan O'Dowd. They struggled to compete with Dan O'Dowd, but they didn't struggle to there were fans that really didn't like him, but they retained their star players. They mostly kept those guys very happy. They did not have these interpersonal problems. There weren't these stories about, people in the analytics department not being treated well, or all these rumblings that you and I would hear about all the time about this guy's just people kind of like Dan O'Dowd. People kind of like Dick Monfort too. I've made this point several times before. He's not a good baseball man, but when people talk about him as a person, they generally say, good guy, treats people well, knows everyone's names, shakes people's hands back when you could shake people's hands, the whole thing. So I do think that, you're right, all those problems remain. But the Jeff Bridich specific problems of like poisoning the relationship with a superstar third baseman, that's bad. That's on him. Some of the overvaluing of all of the overvaluing of every free agent, other than Gerardo Parra, I'll die on that hill. Those were specific Bridich problems, and so you can go, well, they got that out of the way. Now they could even.
But were they? I mean, obviously the first couple of points, but like the analytics department, was that a Jeff Bridich problem? Do we know where he fought? Do we know what money was allotted to him? Where he said, "Shoot, I can either go out and spend $100 on free agents, or I can, well, he's probably not spending 100 on analytics. Do we know exactly how much of that is? Because if it was Monfort not wanting to make that investment in something that's not tangible on the field, we still have that problem.
Yeah, no, totally. Absolutely. I was thinking more of like the way that they were like personally treated and felt like they weren't being listened to.
It's not the lack of the analytic department. It's the analytic and laundry department. It's that segment of it.
Exactly. Yeah. It's the laundry part of it. That's exactly right. I guess I was trying to dance around that, and I have
Dick Monfort took out the laundry. Let's face it. He took out the laundry today.
Totally. Right. And but you're right. Like Dick Monfort has to make the decision to invest in analytics. Hopefully he's in a position where one thing I have heard about, Greg Feasel is that this is a guy who Dick Monfort does trust and listen to. And so you just hope that he's a guy who values that and says, hey, Dick, instead of spending $15 million on the next Gerardo Parra or whatever, kind of mid-level player, why don't we get an analytics department in here? People have talked about, will they invest in like a Theo Epstein or a general manager in the future who's actually going to make over $10 million a year, what the really good ones do these days. That I think is what you need your new team president to be in there fighting for, saying, it's not that I need more money out of you, Dick. I just need it going in the right places.
You make a great point. You said something earlier about there's another voice in the room. So that's true. Like that's huge. And again, that there's somebody appointed in that position that is not just going to, magically go away, or in the case of Kellen McGregor, tragically go away. That's the reason why it was about a tragedy, not more than anything else. It just was a straight up tragedy. But I think for me, one of the reasons why it doesn't come across as this just 100% success, this is fantastic, is because we don't know what is going to happen in that room when it comes time to making those tough decisions. And with this person being a product of what Dick Monfort is doing, and not somebody outside the organization, I'm less inclined to think that those things are going to change, and that it could be a yes man in there. And what does this person know? It remains to be seen. But if I had to make a guess, so yes, it could happen. I'm going to guess that it probably won't happen, unfortunately. I know Clint Hurdle was, according to the organization, considered. But I think that goes back to conversations we've had about, well, when you put a legendary person in a figure of power like that, it becomes real hard to back off from them, right? It becomes real hard to like part ways, because you're like, man, it's a hard spot, right? Because you're killing the legend there, right? You're doing something there. So you're backed into a corner. It's a no-win situation. So somebody neutral like this, I think is a little bit better. I would have loved to have seen Hurdle a lot more so, of course. I do know from someone close to the situation that, as you said, Greg Feasel has the football background. He's ultimately not a baseball fan. He doesn't really consider himself, he admittedly is not a baseball guy. Then again, you don't necessarily have to be. I think you can be successful. Kelly McGregor wasn't classically a baseball guy. He was a football guy. I would imagine he would have thought of himself as a baseball guy. We don't know. But it does give you pause for someone who's never held a job in baseball operations, like Greg Feasel is appointed to that. I'm going to give him an opportunity, but I'm going to give him a lot of opportunity. In fact, I mean, this is something that is going to take years until we actually know what's happening, what's broken down, where the misses, what has gone right. It literally will be years until we know the job that Greg Feasel has done. So I don't want to in any way come across like I'm saying, oh, this is awful, because it's not. But it's also not the greatest move that, hey, wait 4 years and the Rockies are definitely going to be a World Series contender. That still, to me, remains to be seen.
I mean, yeah, that's of course. Yeah, either way, it totally remains to be seen. We could look back in hindsight and say this was one of the greatest days in Colorado Rockies history. We could look back and go, well, that was much ado about nothing. We could look back and go, there's a little bit of his baby steps. They started to move in the right general direction, which is, I think, more along.
It's definitely baby steps at the least. You know what I mean?
It's at the very least.
Better than. I actually think it's better than baby steps, right?
It really is.
It's like it's a half measure, and that's usually used as a negative term, right? It's like almost like a backhanded compliment. Baby steps is like, all right, look, you got a long way to go. You just took 3 steps and there's still 25 more. No, they went halfway, which is good, which is a lot more than baby steps. But they didn't go all in just yet.
Right. And we're gonna, keep our eyes very closely on which one of their internal candidates most likely becomes the interim GM. That sends an interesting message. Zach Rosenthal's a very analytically minded guy. If he can get in the room and win some arguments during a rebuild about being more analytically inclined and convince these guys that that's where the money should go in the future, that'll be really interesting. They go the other direction. Billy Schmidt, maybe they're thinking more, well, hey, we just need our young guys to grow and develop, and we're going to do the draft and develop thing again. But it could also signal more of a longer teardown. Might not mean either of those things, but we're going to look very closely at all that stuff and see how the season goes, because it all matters in the long term of this. Like you said, it's like they've taken these steps forward, but they haven't gotten there. Huge leaps even, but it's like they're still not to where they need to be yet. They've got to cement this thing with the right hires and the right direction. And then they can, there's an opportunity. I think that's where most of the excitement is coming from. It's just that opportunity to get it right.
That's true.
Right? Even if by accident, even if there's a chance Dick Monfort accidentally hires the perfect GM for the job. And so, it's even that is on the table.
Sure. So, I like that. The word you use the word rebuild. Question is, are we going to hear that word
not out of Dick Monfort's mouth,
uttered by the front office at some point in the next X months? Like, again, does this change part of it? Does this allow you to broach that conversation? It's not the worst word in the world. And in fact, I think you admit that. I think that could even be better, because I don't know. Is that something that Rockies fans want? Like, do they want to just admit what this is, or just admit that you know where you're going? Because if you admit a rebuild, you go, got it.
Yeah.
So you're at the bottom of the pool and you touch the bottom, and now you can push off and go up. But if you don't recognize that, we're all going to drown here together.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, I think the hardcore knowledge, all our people, all you very, very smart
everyone
people
listen to this,
subscribe to
knows.
the DNVR. Yeah, I think they know that. I do think the casual fan just wants to win the baseball game today. Like, you know what I mean? Like, straight up, and then they wake up tomorrow and they want to win that day. And I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that. But hearing, we're not going to be good for a couple of years is not something this fan base has ever really been told before. And so I'd be curious to see how they react. I think it'd be a split, like with anything. I think this fan base, there's a lot of casuals. There's the hardcores who get really into it and study it. And I think they would be okay with it. I think it would take some convincing for the wider audience. And I could see them going in a direction of, we got to get butts back in seats. And, they got a lot of money to spend. I can see them trying to turn around and be successful next season right away, depending on if they trade Trevor. The 10% chance now that was 0.1% chance yesterday that they extend Trevor's story, whatever that is, it gets really, really fascinating, right? I don't think there's they have to go that way, but I'd be almost just curious to see how Rockies fans respond. Like I'm not a fan of rebuilds, but I'd be very, very curious if they came out and said that. I'd be like, bold, good for you.
That would, I think, I don't know, because we fan different, right? You and I, we come together. We both love the game of baseball. We do want to see winning team on the field. But when we both look at this organization, we see different things, and we're both right for our reasons. And like you said, they can go at that, they can spend money. So instead of investing in analytics and maybe tanking and doing all of those things to say, all right, you're going to have a really good chance of winning a World Series by doing it this way. Again, there are other ways of doing it, which they've tried, but you can, if you tank, you have this maybe good of a chance to have a perennial contender for 3-4 years in 5 years' time. You can do that, but you don't want to lose 100 games every single season. And I get that. So you say, hey, give me that big superstar, put an interesting product on the field, because even when they're bad, even right now where they sit in last place in the National League, it's baseball, baby. We love it. It's still enjoyable. There's still guys to root for. So you can still have that. You might not have the excitement of being a perennial contender, but it's hard to know. It's hard to know what's what. It would be interesting to know. Do you want to rebuild? Like, do you want to tank or not?
Yeah,
it would be curious to know.
I'd be very curious to see where the fans stand on that particular issue with everything having gone on now. Speaking of the fans, you guys have sent us a lot of fantastic stuff.
I love it.
We're going to take a look at it here in just a second, but we appreciate you being members of the family. If you haven't officially done so yet, though, and subscribed, now you want to do it, right? All of the weight of being a Rockies fan that felt weird, well, not all of it, but a lot of it is off your shoulders, especially if you were really putting it on Jeff Bridich. I know a lot of people out there were. You can subscribe now. You get all those discounts, hats, shirts, masks, bigger beer down at the DNVR bar. And for the annual, we'll hook up you with a free shirt from the DNVR Locker and a holistic stick from our friends at Holistic Wellness. Check them out, HOLISTIK, wellness.com. Use promo code DNVR30 to get 30% off there. Of course, you all know to drink your Breck brews. Those are the ones that you get bigger down at the DNVR bar, that 22 ounce when you've got the membership instead of the 16 ounce. That's a decent amount of extra beer just for being a member of the family. Definitely subscribe. Definitely drink your Breck brew and your Breck Celsius in celebration today. Or if you're still frustrated at this franchise, then in still frustration at the franchise, you can drink your Breck brews. It's good for any occasion is what I'm trying to say. They got all the fantastic flavors, 15 can sampler, so you can try everything out for either the Breck brew or the Breck Celsius. It's damn good drinking. That's what it is.
It's funny you said the word frustrating. I am not frustrated by this move, but the Rockies are frustrating, right?
They most certainly are.
And for everyone that's saying, well, I guess I don't need to buy a Fire Jeff Bridich t-shirt. When you subscribe to the DNVR, you get exclusive access to our Discord room. So you can do all you want on Twitter at DLineCo and say at DLineCo, Eric, give me a Tapia t-shirt. Give me a McMahon t-shirt. Give me a Blake Street Bombers. I want some new DNVR Rockies gear. You can bug him publicly on Twitter, or when you're a member, we're going to listen to you a little bit more carefully. So Drew and I, we're working on it. We're hitting up Eric with all kinds of crazy ideas for McMahon, Tapia, the young boys, the Lost Boys, all of them. It's coming. It's coming.
I wish Tapia hit more home runs because yours was perfect. Tap 'em all time is fantastic.
Right? It just links it all up, right?
It's so good. I'm sure Jack Corrigan would love it, and that's his.
If he was John Sherrill, if he was
oh man, tap him all the time, but he's only gonna hit like 9 home runs a year.
If he was John Sterling from the Yankees, and you're like, all right, Rocky's got a new player. What's his home run call gonna be? You know what? You don't have to have him for everyone. Just have him for Mr. Raimel Tapia. Yeah. Tap him all time.
I gotta agree with our guy Woke and Click here. We're gonna get back to some of your work in a minute, but as primarily in absence, the Rockies definitely need some more love when it comes to D-line shirts. What really helps with that, people have to buy them. Go right out there and buy some Rockies shirts, and we'll make some more. I promise you.
And let us know. Do you want a DNVR Rockies tee with Drew's cartoon face on it? And by cartoon, I don't mean like he's cartoonish looking. Just look at him right now. No, I mean the fact that when we do the DFA show, I got a cartoon face. But like those cartoon faces, hey man, why not? Drew, would you sign off on that? Would you want your face on some merch? It's weird. Yeah. Are you sure? Like you got
it'd be like I'm for it right up until the moment I'm walking down the street and I see somebody else has my face on their shirt. and then I'm weirded out by it.
Or the memes of people getting mad at you for something you say, burning the shirt, and you go, You're burning my face. Like, that's not cool. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't hurt because it's on a t-shirt, but still symbolically that hurts.
Yeah. All right, chat. Here in the YouTube. Now we're going to go through some of these. Some of them we're going to go through quickly. People just sharing some GIFs and some already pre-made memes. We're going to take a look at those and laugh and have a good time together, but we're going to stop on the ones that you all put some time and effort into. And we're going to need you in the chat to help us grade these out of 10. And we'll figure out which ones are the best. There are some really fantastic ones. This is just a shared meme, but you gotta love Darth Vader. You have failed me for the last time.
And if you're listening to the podcast, go on YouTube right now, no matter what day it is. Fast forward to minute 25. Here we're getting to the visuals because you've already been listening to it. You made it this far. Let's see what Rockies fans are memeing up here with the loss. The loss of Jeff Bridich, I'm not sure how you phrase that. Ding dong, the witch is dead. The king is dead. Long live the king.
Indeed. I like this one from Paul Whistling, going to what we were talking about before, just sharing Neil deGrasse Tyson. It's a start.
Right. And you know what? If he's heading up the analytics department, not
Right?
only can we have consecutive Rockies World Series, we're going to put a Rocky on the moon with Neil deGrasse Tyson. This
Here
is
we
a
got
fantastic
one from Nate, who actually made one on his own. So we got to grade this one, chat.
Nate Cheney, we got to go above and beyond because you spent at least 10 seconds to create this meme. It's Dick Bridich sitting in the dugout with a little look on his face and says, when you realize the call is coming from inside the house.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good, especially for the especially paranoid Rockies fans right now. Oh, we'll get back to that idea in a minute because that one was just shared.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
We got. This
that would be Sailor Moon.
Sailor Moon. My job here is done, but you didn't do anything.
Okay.
Then we just got some that's LMFAO, right? Dancing in the Street.
Yes, LMFAO on DNVR. They're party rocking. I'm pretty sure. If I had to guess that move.
Some
Mr.
Simpsons.
Ralph Wiggum.
Still miss Nolan.
I want to know who the Rockies are going to choose for their next GM. It's for the Simpsons fans out there, yeah.
Got a few of these. Happy Nolan.
Nolan excited. Oh, okay, yes,
right.
Very good. I like that.
Got to appreciate this one from.
You need to do your Morgan Freeman impersonation on this one, Drew. I think you can hit the throat. Go ahead, give it a shot. You can do it.
Hope is a dangerous thing. Hope can drive a man insane.
Okay.
Not as good as my James Earl Jones.
I can't. I hope we get a meme for that one.
Here we go, Ken. For this is my favorite so far because it actually stemmed from our podcast earlier today with Makayla. He's even used our DNVR graphics in here. We've got young Gamora asking Thanos, "Did you do it?" Him saying yes. Breaking, the Colorado Rockies and Jeff Bridich have agreed to mutually part ways. And what did it cost? Everything.
Oh, wow.
Picture of Nolan. Oh,
wow.
Man. That is so perfect.
That is great.
That's a 10 out of 10. So
that's 10 out of 10. Who was that? Let's give them that.
That was our guy Woke and Click from a minute ago. Yeah. Yep. And then he was at the sideline crowd was the person who started our whole thing saying that this moment felt like Endgame after Nolan had been snapped off the team by Thanos. So talk about community synergy there. Everybody coming through. That's fantastic stuff. Oh, and this person Owen added to it to the everything. Same meme all the way down, but threw in Tulo, DJ, Adam Ottavino, and the record from 2018 with the Rockies at 91 and 72, and the Rockies at 92 and 71. Ooh,
pretty much. Oof. Ooh. Yeah, that's rough. That is definitely rough.
Okay. Look, Owen. Look, when you're on
I'm
fire,
not repeating that one.
We're not going to describe that. You got to be on the YouTube there. This is a silly thing from the Flash show, but there it is.
Let's just say there's a tombstone involved, and we'll just leave it at that.
How about this one from our guy, Sakor? Take a good look. You won't see him for long.
Touch him all the time.
That is, boy. That is, that's rough.
Resigned. He was DFA'd. If we're gonna be official here, Jeff Bridich was DFA'd.
Right.
Now, Drew, I am a huge SNL fan. Do you know what the name of that character is?
I can't remember. It's Fred Armisen.
Yes, doing the drums.
He goes, "Ay, Dios mío."
His name would be Felicito.
Felicito.
Love me some SNL.
I'm way less than impressed, but still taking it. Okay.
All right, Andy. Andy from The Office.
How about this one? Another one specifically for us.
And it's funny because Poor Tux, I'm pretty sure, actually was there. I saw him. He was one of the viewers. He says, "I'm not listening to DNVR Jeff Bridich resignation podcast." He's staring straight in the driver's seat. Someone is Giving him the business. I guess that's the podcast. The podcast is the unhappy lady on the outside shouting at him, and the rest of the Rockies world. I don't care to hear it. Yeah, but you're gonna listen to it though. I know.
Oh, love it.
This is good news. This is good news. No two ways about it. I don't want to throw cold water on it. The whole thing. It's what I do. It's slowly becoming my brand. I feel like, but it's a good day. It's a good day. Be happy. Be happy.
Yeah. No. And it is important to remind people that like this isn't the end of the Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
You know.
Poor Frodo.
So, as much as I love this, the Lord of the Rings one, it's one of them is, but again, maybe not quite. Got to appreciate this one. Just all business about it. Nolan with the seats. We got a couple of Ric Flair woos.
I'm gonna have to back away from the mic to give you a real good.
Woo! There it was. We got a Mr. Bean showing off the middle finger. I mean, fair enough.
Atkinson, respect.
Doing some shots. All well and good. Oh, someone's just having Nolan memories.
I guess the removal of Bridich is like a walk-off cycle on Father's Day. I guess I could see it.
Guess so. A little too late. Fair enough.
Is that JoJo? I don't know. I think that's from a song.
I love this Britney one. I do love this. This was almost exactly.
That's a good reaction.
Looking at my phone to see the news and just being like,
that's good. That's good. That's a good way of summing it up. We might even have to give them a shout out, Jacob.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Free Britney. Oh, look, check out this one from our guy Nicky. Now this is subtle. I'm going to zoom in a little bit because it just looks like it's a shot of the parking lot. It says over and out of here, but when you zoom in on who's spacing it.
Very nice. Yes, an empty 37 Jeff Bridich parking spot. That's good. I had no idea what that was. Nikki, well done. That's why you're the best Rockies fan in all of Twitter in Europe. I think that's official now. We can say that is official.
So. I think we can say that. I believe we have the power to designate that.
There's a tournament that actually we have the evidence. Like that's an official thing. Oh, Baby Yoda. Can't go wrong with that.
So surprised there wasn't more Baby Yoda. I've been seeing this one a lot from a few different people, but the does not work, but could be fun to fix is
very good. I do like that one.
And you can tell the British that they may take our lives, but they'll never have our freedom.
I wouldn't have guessed you could do a better Mel Gibson than Morgan Freeman. We learned something today.
A million times as a kid, and Shawshank, I feel like my Morgan Freeman would be better if I was talking about penguins.
And also, your cadence wasn't on. The voice was there, but it was a cadence thing.
Yeah.
And so I think you could actually bypass your Mel Gibson. I would be curious if someone knew Joe's meme there of the four people dancing, the four singles in New York dancing around. It would be curious to know if everybody knew what that was. Alas, you and I know.
In a glass case of emotion, fair enough. A lot going on. Yeah. We got this one from our guy Noah Archuleta. Old man Chuck still processing what just happened. Also, I think a face a lot of people made today, like, huh? Really? For real?
Mixed emotions. More good than bad. More good.
Certainly, judging by these memes, we got
an orangutan, which I'm only assuming is an outtake from Planet of the Apes. I'm guessing. I'm not sure.
It must be. Excited. Kermit. Is that Parks and Rec?
Who is it? Come on, who's the mustachioed gent everyone loves?
I know the name of the actor. I just wasn't sure if it's. Do I? I'm blanking on it right now.
You do probably know it's Nick Offerman. And that would be Mr. Ron Swanson.
Katie's gotten into it. She loves Bob's Burgers. I love Bob's Burgers. Bob's Burgers is amazing. Great. There's another show that's, I think, by the same people that takes place in Alaska, and I'm blanking on the name of it.
I have not seen that one.
Gotten into it recently. It's pretty solid. It's, it feels very similar, but he voices the main character in that.
And his wife is one of the voices on Bob's Burgers. So
there you go. Nick Offerman. All right. What are
Herb
you waiting
Dean.
for? One more time.
Yeah, Herb Dean has a hard time with stopping some UFC fights and knowing when it's time to call it. It's like, I'm seeing brain matter, so you may want to interject here. And I think we've seen some brain matter. And that's a very good analogy when you're talking about certain medical professionals performing surgery to that area. So that kind of fits. I'm going to give bonus points to the Herb Dean one.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Who's that from? Let's go back. Oh, Chris. Chris, who's very quickly becoming one of my best friends on Twitter. I know he knows the hockey stuff a bit more, but big gamer, big
Prince Harry's close friend there, Tyler Perry.
Yep.
A couple of Medias.
Got another Frodo, Lord of the Rings one. Oh, here's one.
Now, I don't get this one. I don't get this.
I guess we got Chris McMahon.
That's right.
Jen Wellesley. All right. Okay. If anybody in the chat gets,
we got a big Chris McMahon fan on our hands, is what we really.
I was gonna say
that's the biggest takeaway that I'm getting from this, and I'm excited that someone is excited about Chris McMahon.
I wonder if Chris McMahon knows he's been memed. Like, yeah, I'm totally with you. All right, I'm gonna show this for just a minute because I don't want us to get demonetized.
Oh,
Jeremy,
Lord. I don't know what this guy's from, but he doesn't look.
If
normal?
Nolan just waited a couple of months and then he's squished meat on the. I hope you saw it while it was up, or you didn't. Because that was gross, but also I do think encapsulates how some people are feeling right now. Like, man, if they could have just. Okay.
all that money that they now have freed up. No, too late. What does this one say? Dominic with an original.
And burn the place down going out the door, it says.
Almost an Office Space homage.
Yeah.
With our good friend Milton there.
That one's funny but political, so I'm going to skip it real quick.
All right.
I mean, Christian's still seeing us the whole thing on fire, saying it's fine. He's not won over yet. That's fine. That's okay. Drake
that
clapping. Hadn't seen that yet.
What that reminds me of it's fine. Meanwhile, there's smoke billowing through.
Mm.
You mentioned, and this was mentioned on the first part of like, hey, the dark cloud, the bright dark cloud that was hanging over Coors Field is gone. Yes. However, bigger than clouds and bigger than the atmosphere is the solar system. We are still in the Montford solar system. And we got to keep our eyes out for asteroids. But you know what? The cloud is gone. So let's enjoy the sunny weather while we can. I am all about that celebration.
Sky feeling good about Trevor's story. We'll see. All remains to be seen at this point.
What are we keeping our fingers crossed? Is it like
that?
Does he have 24 hours to take back his resignation?
Right.
Oh, come on. When does that clock
that's
stop?
more in reference to the things you're talking about, like fingers crossed that this is real change, that it really is the move that some people are hoping or thinking it could be. That's how I'm choosing to interpret it.
And I'm hoping, and I got my fingers crossed too. Like, we want more winning baseball here in Denver. My fourth favorite Jonas brother. Again, you got to be watching YouTube to know which one.
What's going
on? There's 4. You need to be subscribing to YouTube.
Ernie going with the Wolverine walking away from the giant explosion as Jeff Bridich with Rockies fans and the Rockies burning up behind him. Again, we'll see. It certainly, again, if you're thinking about the Nolan trade in particular, I think this really works because there is that we're always going to wonder now if they could have gotten rid of Jeff Bridich before trading Arenado, if that relationship could have been salvaged or, whatever. Now it just seems like really did it have to be both?
And I think the further we get away from this, I think the more likely, or not more likely, but the harder the narrative is of, hey, Dick Monfort, this is on you.
Yeah.
This is on you. We got some Eric, Tim and Eric. The Fantastics. Oh, Aristocats. That's it.
I think that's
I never saw that one. I don't know that one.
A couple of Chris Tucker folks not totally having it. That's fine. Another happy.
Some good highlights from Friday.
Nolan being excited. I like
that one works because it's Team USA. Yes. Explain this one. This is great.
So yeah, this one from Daniel from Major League of them stripping off the parts of the owner's garb. Again, it goes kind of to what you're talking. It's like a couple of pieces have been torn off of the problem, but the owner is still right there. So,
and it works with the analogy we talked about in the offseason, this idea that, you know what, front office might not be helping the Rockies, but the Rockies are going to go, well, screw them. We're going to do it ourselves. And you know what? On this homestand, they sure as heck did.
Mike doing the Tina Fey. Okay, good. Who's next? With you there. Looking for what happens.
Stewie's excited.
SpongeBob is excited. And the Minions are excited.
I hope that's not a shout out Rockies fan. That's all I have to say. What does that mean? Also, no one's come up with a purple minion. No one's done purple minions before.
Right? Goldberg, who's next again? Some people looking for more.
Ric Flair, loving it.
A lot of Ric Flair, and this is the one from the speech that this is the greatest day of my life.
You know what? I did not know that's what he said. Okay.
Yeah.
And how much of that is people who actually know who Ric Flair is? They actually like wrestling. They know that that's kind of our shtick. I just want to believe that they all know. They're all on it with us.
I would also like to believe all of that. So
at least 75%. Okay, that's a pretty good one.
You guys sent so many.
I literally did nothing. Okay.
I love this Chris Farley. I love Chris Farley.
Officer Mehoff. Gotta respect him.
Gronk from Emperor's New Groove, just feeling nice and good, wearing his Rockies hat. You got to enjoy a little work there done from Blunt to get the CR on the straw hat. Got to appreciate that. I'll see if there have been any new ones sent. Those are the ones that were sent in before the show. But man, you guys are fantastic. How did we do on the grades? What was your favorite? Let us know in the comments which ones you thought were the best out of those. Obviously, I'm partial to anything having to do with Marvel. The fact that it was Marvel, Infinity War, all that stuff, and then it was actually based on the conversation we had just a couple of hours ago. Excellent work to everybody involved. The two people that made different versions of it. That I think that one has to be my favorite.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. And again, the work was put in on it, right? If you take something that's already existed out there, and even the guy tapping his head like smart, you go, oh, okay, I like it. We can all enjoy it. But if you're going a little bit above and beyond, anything involving Photoshop, you immediately get bumped to the front of the line. We'll give you a shout out, talk about your handle. And you know what? This is one of those things where, hey, we can all laugh about it now and kind of help get past it in a way, as we've been talking about with the Arenado trade. It's like we knew that was going to happen. And Jeff Bridich at the time of the trade wasn't like this savior of like, no, we all know Bridich has the answers. And we're going to win a World Series with Bridich, so we have to just trust that he's doing the right thing, trading Nolan. We know that's not the case. So this is another part of that healing process. I think that's, going to take a long time, and what better way to do it than with a bunch of laughs.
Yeah.
Bunch of laughs, bunch of all your friends in the DNVR community. We love it.
Yeah. You guys hit it out of the park, if you'll forgive just too perfect baseball idiom. So we're going to talk a little bit about the San Francisco Giants series and here in just a few seconds. Do got to give a shout out to our friends over at Chevalier Mortgage. Man, they take care of you. They treat you like family. They can make what can be a little bit of a hassle into, actually, believe it or not, a whole lot of fun. You're looking at the loan. You're looking to refinance, mortgage options out there. The market is absolutely bananas in your favor. Now is the time to be doing it. And you want to make sure you've got someone in your corner. The protectors of the realm, Chevalier Mortgage, they take care of you. They treat you like family. You can sign up at dnvrmortgage.com, enter to win a free DNVR shirt or hat of your choice. But more importantly, you get set up with a free consultation. When you do that, they'll discuss all of your options with you, whatever your situation is. And they may share in your jubilation at the news of the day as well. I promise you, Mike and Virginia are very aware of what we've been talking about today. They maybe even have been watching the show. So Call Virginia directly at 303-257-6578 or Mike at 970-412-2472. Or again, visit DNVRmortgage.com for that free consultation and to win a free DNVR hat or shirt. Michael Chevalier, NMLS number 1931006, and Virginia Chevalier, NMLS number 1910631.
Jeff Bridich, when he decides to sell his home in the Denver area, he will need Chevalier Mortgage. And he's listening indeed. Now. Obviously, we know. Bud Black did say he was surprised. He was shocked, according to the great Mr. Thomas Harding. Quote, a general manager in any professional sport, it's hard. It truly is 365 days and you're on the clock almost every hour of the day. It can wear you out. Even yesterday, he was present, focused, and talking about the team. And then after the game, he informed Bud Black about the decision. And so this is our way of saying we do not have Bud Black's cell number, nor do we text frequently. We did not get the inside scoop on that one. Then again, maybe we did. And, it's not our place to say. It's not our place to interject. It's their decision to make. So you be the judge on that one. We do have one more meme, though. We do have one more meme that I found on my hard drive. That was interesting.
Oh, yeah.
This is good old what's this gentleman's name? I forgot his name. Kevin Spacey. I was saying Kevin Sorbo in my head, and like different Kevin S. As Mr. Kaiser Sose saying the greatest trick Dick Monfort ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't meddle.
Perfect.
And that's why that's like my soapbox that I'm getting on and saying, hold on, there's still this other element, but don't want to throw too much cold water on it. Let's be excited for the hope, right? Let's get excited for the opportunity, which I very much am.
Yeah. It's certainly going to be fascinating for these next couple of weeks, months, and years, really. There's a lot up in the air. So, like I said, we're going to get into talking about the game now. A lot of this stuff, though, is going to be centered around bets and stuff that you want to make them. You got to get on DraftKings Sportsbook. You got to download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now, whether you're betting on baseball. Football's off right now, I know, but basketball, hockey, UFC, the draft is coming up. That's actually something that they're going to let you bet on. All kinds
you can
of
bet
fun
on
stuff
that.
Doing that.
You can bet on the first overall pick, all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Patrick and I were talking about this, and I really love this idea, man. I hope we can figure out a way to do this, of recording a show while a game is happening with you all and going over the live bets that you can make during a game. I feel like that's built better for baseball than almost any other sport, where you've got this moment, you see who's coming up, he was 0 for the other day, but that swing looked better in the first inning. I'm taking him to get a hit in this at bat right here, right now. I'm feeling it. You all know you watch baseball that way. You're feeling. We love calling it. There's nothing better in baseball than calling it, especially when you get that homer, when you really call, or Makayla saying, I think Trevor Story's about to have a huge weekend. Then he goes out and has a huge weekend. It makes the game so much fun. So download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app. Now, as Patrick mentioned, you can turn $1 into $100 in free bets by betting on the draft. You don't have to know anything about football. They just have to take a quarterback first overall in the draft. My understanding is that Trevor Lawrence is going first overall in the draft. It's more or less a foregone conclusion. So if you've been waiting, now's the time to essentially get free $100 in bets by using the promo code DNVR when you sign up now. If a quarterback is selected first overall this Thursday night, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, Colorado only, new customers only, winnings paid out in free bets. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700.
And when you get a gimme like that, you got to take it. I gave you guys one last week. Not only did Kamaru Usman win, but do you remember how I said he was going to win last week? Do you remember?
I don't. Did you? No, I don't.
Second round knockout. It happened.
No kidding.
It happened exactly.
Let's go.
Let's go, man. Let's win some money. Let's win some money today on this game that I think it's 5:22 here Mountain Standard Time. We got another 6.5 hours until first pitch.
Just these California games are brutal. And like you said, again, going all night games throughout the week, but it does give you a little bit of time to get in your bets. So let's see. They've got that's all basketball. Oh, I just had everything up. Excuse me. Pardon me.
One interesting piece of information worth noting is that Charlie Blackmon has been dropped to 6th in the order tonight.
Yeah,
we've been talking about something happening, but there weren't really any better options, at least going into the weekend. And then you got CJ Cron going off, which incidentally we've said his name both ways. I checked this out. I need to research. I need to do screen caps because we haven't gotten a pronunciation guide in a couple years, but we get them from MLB. I went to the pronunciation guide for his brother, Kevin, who was on the Diamondbacks at the beginning of 2019, and it said Cron. Then I scrolled down to CJ, his brother CJ, and when he was a member of the Twins, and his brother, the brother of CJ Cron, it says Crone. Same family, 2 different pronunciations in the 2019 pronunciation guide. Maybe it's the family. Maybe it's not us after all. I don't know.
They don't know how to pronounce their name.
Maybe they
don't.
Not
even our fault.
Yeah. What's more likely? What's more likely?
Interestingly, usually you don't get this. Usually when you I was betting Trevor Story to hit home runs and stuff, you could get it like plus 350, plus 450. It's plus 850 for Charlie Blackmon tonight. He's moved back. He's been really cold, but we know the guy can hit home runs. I don't love it as a bet, but again, if it's something you want to throw down $5 on, you might get a decent return. He's cold. There's no doubt about it. He's not been hitting well. You're banking on a kind of a lightning spark. Wake up. Maybe he's very excited at the news today. You don't know, but those are great long odds to get yourself a nice return. If in your gut you're feeling like, hey, Charlie's about to turn this thing around. He's got numbers to support it.
He's got mildly favorable numbers against your favorite pitcher from the Giants, Drew. And it's not. It's Mr. What did you say? Disclaiming?
Disclaflani?
Mr. Disclaimer?
Disclaflani.
You're putting like 3 L's in there, and there's barely 1 in there. He has decent numbers against them. No homers. He does have a triple. So, and maybe why not? And again, that's a big win where you don't even have to bet a lot. That's a really good point, a good observation where he's about to break out. You knew it with Trevor Story. At least with this one, there aren't necessarily those numbers to suggest it's going to happen. Like with Story, it was just a matter of maybe being in the right ballpark, right? The wind blowing out just a little bit because was robbed essentially so many times. With Blackmon, they're giving you a big payout, so you don't even have to put down that much in order for it to pay out for you. You can do it for a couple nights in a row, in fact. And even if it takes 3 or 4 games, you're going to get paid on that.
Well, if you're looking for other people, Trevor Story is still at 535 to hit him. He's been hot, and he's played well out there.
He's a person.
Yeah.
Elias Diaz, good numbers against DeSclafani.
Yeah. Mike Yastrzemski rakes against the Rockies. And
not in the lineup today. Not in the lineup.
Oh, so don't do that.
And neither is Diaz, actually. So
really?
In fact, read the lineups off real quick. Tapia, Hampson, Story, McMahon batting cleanup, Cron, CJ batting 5th, Blackmon, Daza again in center field, Dom Nunez, Austin Gomber. For the Giants, Austin Slater, Wilmer Flores, Brandon Belt, Evan Longoria, Buster Posey, Darren Ruff, Alex Dickerson, Mauricio Dubon, and Anthony Disclaflani.
I don't see Darren Ruff to hit a home run either. I know he's got some big flies against the Rockies. He's one of those randos. I thought he'd be long odds.
He's rando.
He's not even on here.
No, 3 at-bats against Gomber.
No.
Yeah. Nobody, 3 at-bats is the most that anyone on the Giants have gotten against him, and Posey is had the most luck. Not that much still. So you like that. You like that there's been a little previous success from Gomber, small sample size, but maybe they keep it going. I think the starters definitely have a good shot of keeping the quality start, streak, so to speak, going in that. So did you find out what the strikeouts?
I was looking and I'm not seeing any.
And sometimes they wait really late. Sometimes
for the strikeouts,
really late.
Yeah.
It's not up just yet. I would say for anyone listening to this, go back and look at Gomber's numbers. Outside of that opening day start, it's 5.76. So I very well could see it at about 5.5. If it's 6.5, take the under. If it's 5.5, might even just stay away altogether.
Stay away from that. If it's
4.5, take the over.
Yeah.
Like that's where you're at.
I like that. The over/under for total runs in the game, we're looking at 7.5. Gomber and
Anthony D.
Sclafani, big old Anthony D have both been pitching
Tony
very
D.
well in terms of ERA stuff this year. We know it's tough to score runs in that ballpark, and in their night games, so marine layer type of stuff. But
yeah, 7 runs was the most that they got in their first trip out to San Francisco. It was 3-run. Again, we know the Giants swept, whatever. That's old news. We got a new GM.
Yeah.
Well, we might have a new GM. We will have a new GM.
There will eventually be.
We have some new front office people in different roles, baby. But in that Giants sweep, it was 3-1, 3-1, 4-3, 4-0. So, man, shoot, that is lining up for an under, right?
Yeah.
I would take the under on that. I would
like
take
the under tonight. Yeah.
I do like the
We're
under.
going to get a well-pitched baseball game, a low-scoring one, opportunity for the Rockies to win. It's kind of interesting. They've got so you can take the money line for the Rockies. Wait, is that on like you have to take them to win by more than 1.5?
Yeah.
And then you get plus 150. But if you just take the Giants, you get plus 128. So that's kind of funny. It's like, I guess that's what you do with a kind of a toss-up game, right? You've got two teams that are they feel like sort of evenly matched, so they're not going to, just let you get solid odds. Oh, did they just update that? They did. Right as I was looking at it, they just updated it.
And all the batters for this game is just over half of a hit. So it's like, are they going to get a hit or not? You don't have to worry about oh, hey, got a hit in a second at bat. Well, shoot, let's keep this thing going because we need more opportunities. Nope, one and done. You win.
Yep. I like McMahon to get a hit tonight. Well, I guess we're going to talk about we can combine those two conversations because we take our people to get hits, but even just on the bets, like you said, it's all just you need one hit. It doesn't look
Dom
like
Nunez is the longest shot. He's plus 105.
There you go.
He's
got make a little bit of money, and he's been swinging a hot bat lately. Been swinging a very hot bat. They won't let you take Tapia, jerks.
They know what he does. They know that he collects.
They know what's up.
They know that he collects. Now the home run for Nunez. So if you want to even double down on that, he's another guy plus 800.
Oh wow, yeah, sure.
Blackman plus 850. So again, those are we know the marine layer is going to keep balls inside the ballpark, but if anyone's going to do it,
I like that as a long shot. He's got the strength. It's just about whether or not he turns on one and gets it right.
Even McMahon is plus 650
to hit one into the bay. I don't know that a Rocky has ever hit a ball into
the splash zone there, McCovey Cove.
Into McCovey Cove. I don't believe
that's
a question.
Happened. I'm going to go out on a limb and say if it did happen, Jason Giambi. You got to have a left-handed hitter.
Sounds right.
You just mash one.
Right. Yeah.
I'm really surprised more balls don't go in there, only because there's not much room between that front row.
But even there's really not, and that's what's funny is I feel like I've seen several Rockies one hop it off of that short little
walkway behind the stadium.
The walkway that they have, and it like one hop them into the.
Didn't Tony Walters do it once?
Is that? It can't be right.
Maybe not.
Can't be right. Will's chiming in with cargo. Yeah. Okay. I'm glad my mind went to a moment. I was like, yeah, if there was a guy who did it, and I'm sure it was a goal of his. I'm certain of it. If we ever get a chance to have him on the show, we'll have to ask him that because I'll bet.
This is a new one. I don't know that I've noticed it before. In fact, of all the games, this is the only game to pop up. This might be brand new. Total stolen bases. Whoa.
In the game.
Yes. So it's all just a half, right? So you either get none, take the under. Actually, you can't even take the under, probably because it's such long, because it's so likely to happen. So all the over, you've got Austin Slater for the Giants. Who cares? But you've got Garrett Hampson plus 450. He's in the lineup batting second tonight. And again, we are talking small ball. The Rockies have been a lot more aggressive. Yeah, Trevor Story made the final out at second base. You like what he was trying to do because even on a double, some doubles by Charlie Blackmon doesn't even score Trevor Story. Some, right? But a single with Story on second base, that's the difference right there. That's what you're going for. So we know they've been aggressive, low-scoring game. something like that could be in play here. So Hampson plus 450 on the over. Trevor Story plus 600. Raimel Tapia, or rather, Story plus 500. Raimel Tapia plus 600. So he's the longest shot. But you got the top 3 guys in the order. They're going to get the most opportunities tonight.
I like
that could be an
to steal a
interesting
base
one
tonight. Yeah, I like that.
That's an exciting one to watch for sure.
Yeah, that's really cool. All right, and finally, as we just sort of move away from the lines and the over-unders and all of that, unless you've got another one, I was going to say, just for the ball game tonight, we can talk again, the next couple of days. We'll see how the series goes, but can the Rockies keep it going? A lot of positive momentum, interesting news today. They're going to come out and play a ball game now. Do they get the dub behind Austin Gomber this evening?
I'm going to say yeah. And I don't that's my version of I don't hate it. I'm going to go yeah. So that's my level of commitment. No, I think they can tonight. And again, wouldn't shock me. Giants are playing really good baseball right now. It's going to be hard to beat the Giants in their ballpark at their own game in a lot of ways, but you like how the Rockies are playing right now.
They couldn't hit there last time. It's still an inexperienced team. It's straight from Denver to California. All those things.
All those are in play. All of those are absolutely in play, but I just like the idea that the Rockies are doing enough of the little things right now, where they can win a low-scoring ball game and eke out little things here and there. It's almost more I don't want to bet against the Rockies right now, right? They're not world beaters. Tomorrow, you could ask me tomorrow, and I go, no, they're not going to win. You can ask me Wednesday. I might not say they're going to win a game on game day for the next week, but today, yes, I think they have a shot at winning this one today.
It feels like it feels like that kind of day. It really is.
It is a winning day in the Rockies world. It could be a winning day for sure.
All right, folks. Well, you guys are amazing. You hung out with us for 2-hour-long conversations before the baseball game is even played today. We'll have more on this. We'll have more guests throughout the week and conversations throughout the week. Obviously, we'll have our guy Drew Goodman back on at some point, and we'll be talking about really the start of a new era for the Colorado Rockies. We don't know exactly what that will look like, so I understand some of the trepidation, but this really is. I wrote before that the trade of Nolan Arenado was the end of the last era, and it really was. But this is the beginning of the next era. We don't know exactly. Like I said, you could say whenever they hire the next person, that'll be the real true beginning, and we're in this odd limbo right now, which I think is also kind of true. But it's at least the sign that the next era of Colorado Rockies baseball is upon us. So
that's exciting, right? To see what happened. And again, we got coming up, besides the All-Star game being in Colorado, like that's a great way to kind of kick off this rejuvenation, if you don't want to use the word rebuild. Well, we will. But rejuvenation, along with the draft, the 8th overall pick, maybe some potential that next year they'll get a top 5 pick, whatever it may be. You're right. This is the start of something new here for the organization in a lot of ways, maybe not all, but in a lot of ways, and something hopeful for Rockies fans going forward.
I was just about to sign off, and that was such a great note to sign off on.
Your eyes just bugged out. What just happened? Oh no.
Will says that Dick Monfort has made a statement. I want to see if I can find it.
All right, so
we log off.
While you're looking that up, this is not considered an emergency podcast because we are already in the middle of it. This is like, look, the EMTs are already at the arena. Yes, someone was injured, but we don't need to call the ambulance. The ambulances are already here at the scene of the crime. So we do know that. Something popped up that said this tweet is deleted.
Okay, well, here's from Rockies MLB blogs. So on like
an official
Rockies
source
magazine. It's from Rockies magazine.
Okay.
The statement is, I guess I should be doubly sure, but that's tweeted out by @Rockies. It was tweeted out by @Rockies. It says, over the last week, Jeff, Greg, and I determined that it was in the best interest of Jeff, his family, and the Rockies for him to step down as general manager. I'm saddened by this, but I've accepted the fact that we must move on. Jeff has dedicated the last 17 years of his life to this organization. He's been a great Rocky and been part of many memorable moments, including being the general manager for our first back-to-back playoff appearances in 2017 and 2018. I'm grateful for his leadership, professionalism, and hard work. I wish Jeff and his family nothing but the very best. And then on the final paragraph here, I'm excited to name Greg as our team president. We appreciate the focus and structure he has provided to the day-to-day business side, and I am confident he will bring that same leadership to the baseball side. Right now, we are focused on naming an interim general manager as quickly as possible and working our way back to postseason baseball.
Sent from iPad.
Yeah.
That was the last piece.
Go on.
You don't have anybody in the spot. What shouldn't you get rid of the GM and then have your next guy ready? I don't know. It's weird.
It is
right?
It is weird. Whatever. That's the statement.
Yeah. All right.
It's fine.
And you should do this. You should say, hey, Jeff, dude, like you were a major part of this organization. Yeah. I mean, he was around for the 2007 World Series. He had his hand in that pie. Let's give credit where credit is due. So fell apart, but he contributed. He laid one of those bricks in Coors Field, not literally, figuratively. So yeah, there should be a comment from Dick Monfort about Jeff.
Yeah, and that's really the only thing to say at this point. He's been a part of our organization for 17 years. Really appreciate his time. We're excited to see what Greg can bring. This is pretty standard stuff. So and our guy Mark coming in with the stats, by the way. Cargo's hit the bay in the bay 3 times and doesn't think anybody else has. That sounds about right.
Yeah, that's official enough for me. I'll take it.
Yeah.
So the Rockies have had a GM named Bob, then Dan, then Jeff. So it's got to kind of fit that.
You got to have a 1-syllable first
name. And they've got a Greg now, technically. I mean, we can kind of put that in. He's technically like the interim. So who do you think they are more likely to hire as their GM? A guy named Zach, like a Zach Rosenthal? Kind of fits. Or Giants team president Farhan Zaidi. Now, the track record says Bob, Dan, Jeff, Farhan? Maybe not.
You know, it does fit the pattern, and we will wrap up, and we'll talk more about candidates. And as we said earlier, we actually did this in the offseason.
We did.
Look at and talk about it, but I saw some people mentioning this. Your friend and mine, former general manager who does fit the naming pattern, Dan Evans.
Should I say what I know and think, or should we save that as a teaser for tomorrow? Should we save that as a teaser for tomorrow? Maybe it might be good to see Makayla's reaction. It would be great to say, now, Makayla, we've got the perfect candidate, not just in the interim, but we've got the perfect candidate going forward for this organization. And then we'll get her all hyped up, and then I'll tell her my thoughts on it. I will share with that.
The only way to make sure you don't miss that is to get on that, subscribe to the DNVR.com. Come by the YouTube channel, hit that bell icon, make sure you're with us so you get that stuff live. Can also live react to it. Join us here in the chat. Soon we're going to be able to run polls and stuff on the YouTube, which will be fun. So that's another way you're going to be able to interact with the show live while it's happening. If you weren't here today for this, you missed a ton of amazing visuals created by Rockies fans. It was really fantastic. You guys are the best. Make sure you're following everyone on social media at Patrick Lyons, at Drew Creasman, at DNVR_Rockies, at Makayla E. Perkins, everybody, at Kel Sorbo, at Ali Monroy. Follow everybody. It's a celebration day. Except Ryan Koenigsberg. Don't follow it. I'm kidding. Definitely.
You're trying to search for him, but you're not going to be able to spell his name, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, if you can spell Koenigsberg, you can follow Koenigsberg, all right? Join us on the DNVR.com. When you get the annual today, you do get that free t-shirt, the free holistic stick, all the written content, constant discounts. You get to hang out with us in the Discord chat. Now there's a lot more to chat about. Baseball 24/7, all the other sports, your favorite movies, television, Mortal Kombat, whatever's going on, we're talking about it all the time. Being a part of the family, come hang out with us. In the meantime, we can only ask that you keep being absolutely awesome out there. We promise to continue being absolutely Patrick Lyons and Drew Creasman in here. And until next time, we will see you at the ballpark.